So how are you all doing? So I've made it to, what is this, Harriman, New York. It's, oh gosh, let me put my glasses on so I can see. I don't have my contact lenses in. It's 2:57 a.m. Eastern Time. I have a 10 a.m. appointment. I have a sneaking suspicion that they'll probably be out here kind of knocking on the door, probably earlier than that, but in any case, since I can't leave here until about 1 o'clock, probably 1 o'clock Eastern Time, so that's when my break will be over, so I'm going to have to take a break here regardless. So I've made it here, about 550 mile trip. It's pretty cold here. It's probably excuse me, it's about 0 degrees or so, and I saw some temperatures. Probably the lowest temperature I saw was about -3. So and of course there's snow, fairly heavy coating of snow all over everything that obviously has been here for a few days, and with these temperatures it's not going to be going away. Of course they've got their roads pretty well cleaned. Most of the major roads they've got those well cleaned, as all of the northeastern states do. But some of the parking lots and what have you are, they're just kind of in worse shape. So walking around, I've got to be very careful. At my age, the wrong kind of a fall would be disastrous. So. But anyway, and I don't have any idea yet where I might be going after this. I'm sure they'll be coming up with something. I'm not going home until the 28th, or 23rd rather. I told them I wanted to be home by the 23rd, February 23rd. So that's still a few days away. So I mailed off my payment to the gas company. It was like $596 something, so $596 and some odd cents. And so I've got that taken care of. I don't mail letters. I haven't mailed a letter. Maybe I do it every 2 or 3 months. I'll mail something, and it's usually not a bill like that. That's a special circumstance. So I've got this roll of stamps that I've had. I used to buy rolls of stamps, and I would regularly go through. I'd buy a roll of 100 stamps, and I'd regularly go through them. But the roll of stamps that I have now, I've had it for several years. It's 39-cent stamps, so that sort of dates it. I'd have to actually look that up and see when 39-cent stamps were in vogue. Now the stamps, I looked it up, and they're 49 cents, and so at one point I had a bunch of penny stamps that I could make up the difference with these stamps as I used them, but I think I used all of those up, and so I just put 2 39-cent stamps on it and call it good. I just wanted to mail the letter and kind of, wrote a check, mailed the letter, off it goes in the mail, and I can kind of forget about that, and hopefully it'll warm up. I get this email. See, I have one of those Nest thermostats at home. I've had for a couple of years, and when they first came out, I was one of the first people to get one, and I reserved it on the website and everything. So before they were released. So anyway, Nest does this thing where periodically they'll send an email with statistics, your own personal statistics, and kind of blended with the national statistics and your local statistics of other people that have the Nest thermostats. And it said that I used 145 more hours during the month of heating. In other words, my furnace was running 145 more hours in January of 2014 than it did in January of 2013. 145 more hours. So that pretty much tells the story of where the propane went. Chewed right through it. So, I don't know. These things happen, and what do? You just gotta have it. If you gotta have it, you gotta have it. And we're having a cold winter. They come along ever so often. The last one in Northwest Arkansas was, and nationally, I think, was around 1979. So, be that as it may. So anyway, I want to, I saw this article about, it's talking about Banana Republic. America's turned into a banana republic where the president just says, well, this is, I'm going to extend my Obamacare, deadline. I just keep extending it. And the president really doesn't have any authority to do that, but other than he just says it. And then, so it is Banana Republic. Well, where did the Banana Republic start? People are all upset. Well, I contend that the Banana Republic started in the, it has long roots. Obama land didn't just start in 2008. Obama land started probably back in the 1940s or the 1950s. When parents started, before Obama was even born, when parents started spoiling their kids. And it's been going on for many years. The morality's also been destroyed via the nationalized public school system, and that's well known. It's been systematically applied, and the school system sort of takes over where the parents fail. So the parents are they're sort of flawed parents, and so the school system simply takes, the nationalized public school system sort of takes advantage of that. And so we have, it takes about 3 generations to really destroy a nation, destroy the morality. You do it, you attack through the youth. And so that's been happening. So by the time the 1980s rolled around, even though we had Ronald Reagan was able to sort of stop the economic effects a little bit, but he was not able to stop the social problems. And the social problems are what's destroying us, the moral problems. In the 1980s, even the late 1970s, children were being born outside of marriage at record rates, record divorce rates, so on and so forth. And today, over 50% of children are born outside of marriage. And some of them will survive. Some people there are always survivors. However, I contend the vast majority of those children never do as well because there's no father. You got to have an intact family. And if you don't, it's never going to work as well. And so the kids that are being born today, 50% don't know who the dad is in many cases, or the dad's just was the sperm donor. Irresponsible. People are encouraged to be just as irresponsible as they can, and then of course you have the government. People in the government are encourage. They encourage dependence. The government is God. The government is your God. Externalized God, man-made God. Government's all-knowing and all-caring. It'll take care of you. Well, I'm sorry, but it can't. The government is an imaginary concept. Apart from the buildings, and these people we've designated as government officials or government priests, can you tell me where it is? It's an imaginary concept. People talk about, God's an imaginary concept. Well, if God's an imaginary concept, then so is the government. The government does not exist. It only exists because people believe that it does. And so the things that we're talking about, what constrains you? What constrains you? You have a moral structure if you're a decent person, you've got a moral structure, you could take the external laws and the external rules away, and if you're a decent person, you're not going to rape, you're not going to rob, you're not going to pillage, and so on and so forth, because it's not in you to do it. But on the other hand, if you freed people, quote unquote, free people from their morality, then you have, Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans was a perfect example of that, where, you have these people that are just, a large mass of people that have been made dependent on the government, deliberately, you're too stupid here, or have a handout, here's your little government handout, your little pittance, because you're too stupid to do anything else. And then when the hurricane came and the flood came and flooded New Orleans, then you saw there was nothing to restrain them. There was no law, and so what happened? You saw people wading around and water up to their waist, carrying television sets, with no electricity to run them with. And, so in other words, there was no more fear of, sort of an external fear of the policeman getting them or the law coming after them. And so therefore, there was nothing to restrain them because their internal restraints were already missing. So, in other words, the parents, going back to the 50s, because the 1960s are the evidence of it. You look at the 60s, and you already had all the problems. So going back to the 50s, parents were opening the portals of hell. They were opening the portals of hell with their kids by doing the various things and kind of engaging in things that resulted in moral breakdown. And of course, as this was all going on, we just all said, "Oh well, it's none of my business. don't want to hurt my friends' feelings or my relatives' feelings, or maybe I have my little goodies that I want, and so therefore I'm gonna turn a blind eye to whatever it is. Nothing I can do about it anyway. Go back to watching Dancing with the Stars." Of course, that didn't exist then. There's always distractions. People always have their football. They got their football distraction. Well, if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, too bad. I don't know who's watching. Sorry. I'm just kind of giving my opinion. So it happened. Parents have been opening the portals of hell for a number of years, and so the portals are open now. And so the adults many of the adults that we have today are living in a dream world, and if you don't have any internal moral compass, genuine internal moral compass, if you don't have that, then what you end up with is people that are suggestible. And so the less internal restraint that you have, it's kind of a sliding scale. The less internal restraint that you have, the more suggestible you are. And people are in a state of extreme suggestibility today. And so therefore people are externalized. They're sort of trying to get their identity from... So I don't know what happened there. The phone kind of froze up. So I went ahead, hopefully I think I've got the recording, so there may be a little bit of a glitch there. So in any case, the portals of hell were opened, they're already open. This didn't just happen. It's so if you're, and if people are upset today, the reason you're upset is because your denial mechanism's gone. If you're upset, it's just reality's caught up with you. Years ago is when when the problem happened, and you've been in denial, and suddenly the denial mechanisms are no longer functional. They've kind of become dysfunctional. At some point, you're in a burning house, and you stick your head under the covers to kind of, whoops, Boy, I don't know. This phone's acting strange. You stick your head under the covers to make the fire go away. Well, at some point, the fire's going to start burning you anyway, whether you got your head under the covers and you can't see it or not. So, I guess I'd better stop right now while this phone is acting kind of strange. I should have probably rebooted it. It's been a few days since I rebooted it, so I'm asking for problems. So anyway, that's it for now. We'll talk to you later.